Walang aywanan.
Alex Eala just sold out the entire Khalifa International Stadium for a first-round Qatar Open match. Meanwhile, Grand Slam champions are playing a half-empty crowds. The tournament organizers even made her the main attraction over world number ones and established stars. 7,000 Filipino fans turned a Tuesday afternoon match into a full-on World Cup vibe, while top seeds are stuck with scattered applause and empty seats under the desert sun. So what do you think? Does Alex Eala have more star power than current Grand Slam champions? Or is this just the Filipino community showing love and creating a temporary illusion? Drop your honest take in the comments below. Let's get the facts straight from the jump, because what went down in Doha isn't just surprising, it's straight up unprecedented in modern women's tennis. Alex Eala, ranked outside the top 100, playing a first-round match against Aryna Sabalenka from the Czech Republic, sold out the entire stadium. Not just a good crowd, not just filling seats, completely sold out. Tickets disappeared within minutes of the schedule being released. Scalpers were showing up for a first-round tennis match. Security had to beef up because the crowd outside the player entrance got way too thick to manage safely. For context, the Qatar Open has hosted legends like Serena Williams, Maria Sharapova, Justine Henin, and Agnieszka Radwanska. Early rounds, they're usually quiet affairs, scattered applause, empty seats, polite vibes while top seeds find their rhythm. That's standard for WTA 1000 events. You put marquee matches in prime time, hoping to draw decent crowds. The early rounds, they're basically filler content to fund the tournament, not ticket-selling events. But Alex Eala, she broke that model entirely. Tournament organizers looked at the draw, saw multiple Grand Slam champions and top 10 players, and designated a 20-year-old Filipino as the main attraction. Think about the weight of that move. They're basically admitting Alex Eala is a bigger draw than players who've won majors and held the #1 ranking in the world.
Pipila din tayo.
And they were absolutely right. The stadium didn't just fill up, it transformed into a home venue. Flags everywhere, chants echoing through the complex, decibel levels rivaling World Cup football matches. The atmosphere? Suffocating for Valentova, euphoric for Eala. It felt like a Davis Cup or Billie Jean King Cup environment for a single tournament match. The reason this happened is simple, but often overlooked by tennis authorities. Qatar has a massive Filipino expatriate community. Hundreds of thousands of Filipinos live and work there. For years, they've waited for a hero to cheer for on the global stage. They had Manny Pacquiao in boxing. Now they have Alex Eala in tennis. And they turned the Khalifa International Complex into a fortress. When the schedule dropped, mobilization was instant and organic. Social media groups, community chats, and fan clubs all activated simultaneously. This wasn't corporate marketing or paid promotion. This was grassroots movement of people desperate to support one of their own on an international platform. Now compare that to other sessions. Reports confirm matches featuring top seeds in the same time slots drew maybe 30 to 40% capacity. Aryna Sabalenka, a Grand Slam champion and former world #1, played to a half-empty stadium. Iga Świątek's early matches had plenty of available seats. These are players who should, theoretically, be the biggest draws at any tournament, but they couldn't generate the atmosphere Eala created effortlessly. And that has to sting if you're one of those top players. You've won majors, you've been ranked #1, you've dominated the tour for years. And then this 20-year-old from the Philippines, never won a WTA title, sells out a stadium while you are playing to empty seats. The envy? Real and completely justified. Because what Eala has shown is that star power in tennis isn't just rankings or accomplishments. It's about connecting with an audience. It's about representing something bigger than individual achievement. Filipino fans aren't just supporting a talented tennis player. They're supporting Filipino excellence on a platform historically dominated by Europeans and Americans. The match itself? Tactically fascinating. Eala had to manage the pressure of 7,000 people chanting her name on every point. That's an advantage, yes, but it's also crushing pressure. You step onto the court expecting polite applause and instead get slammed with a wall of noise. The natural reaction? Overhit, crush every ball just to hear the roar. But tennis rewards patience and consistency, not hero shots. Valentova isn't a pushover. She's a powerful Czech player with a big serve and heavy ground strokes, and she'd beaten Eala before. Head-to-head going into this match? 1-0 in Valentova's favor. Eala wasn't just facing the opponent across the net. She was facing the ghost of that previous loss and the statistical quirk that saw her struggle against Czech players. But Eala has evolved mentally. 2 years ago, this pressure might have crushed her. Instead, she channeled the energy. She leaned on her defensive skills and that lefty forehand hook she picked up at the Rafael Nadal Academy, staying in points she technically had no business winning. She extended rallies, forcing Valentova to hit just one more ball until the Czech player finally cracked. There was a point in the second set that immediately went viral. Eala was pulled wide to her backhand, nearly into the doubles alley. She sprinted, slid across the hard court, and flicked a passing shot down the line that landed perfectly in the corner. The roar? So loud it registered on local seismographs. Not an exaggeration, the noise was genuinely deafening. Doha's courts are medium-slow hard courts with grit that takes spin well. That favored Eala's game. Her heavy topspin forehand bites into the surface and jumps high, making it difficult for taller, flatter hitters like Valentova to establish rhythm. Eala used the high bounce to push Valentova behind the baseline, neutralizing the Czech player's power advantage. After the match, Eala grabbed the microphone and spoke to the crowd in Tagalog. The place erupted. She thanked them for making her feel at home. She acknowledged the sacrifices of overseas workers who spent hard-earned money to be there. That emotional connection between athlete and fan, that tether, is what transforms sport. It's what Muhammad Ali had, it's what Pacquiao had, and now it's what Eala has. Meanwhile, Aryna Sabalenka is presumably watching all this from her hotel room, wondering how she's been reduced to an afterthought at a tournament where she's a legitimate championship contender. She's won multiple Grand Slams, she's been the world #1, she should be the main attraction. Instead, organizers poured all promotional energy behind a player who's never won a WTA title. That's not a criticism of the organizers, they made the correct business decision. Eala sells tickets. Sabalenka doesn't, at least not in Qatar. The reality, the Filipino community shows up in massive numbers to support their athletes. Other communities don't, or at least not with the same intensity. And this exposes a fundamental problem with how the WTA markets its stars. The tour has relied on traditional metrics like ranking and Grand Slam titles to decide who gets featured in promotional materials, but those traditional metrics don't capture cultural connection or demographic support. Eala might be ranked lower than Sabalenka, but in Qatar, she's infinitely more valuable from a business perspective. The economic implications are huge. Tournament directors across the tour are now taking notice, realizing they've been scheduling matches wrong. They've been putting top seeds in prime slots, assuming that drives attendance. But what if the player with the most passionate fan base deserves those slots, regardless of ranking? This also shines a light on the untapped potential of the Asian market, specifically Southeast Asia. The WTA has spent years courting China with mixed results, but the Philippines is a market fueled purely by passion. Eala is the catalyst. If she keeps this trajectory, we could see more events in Southeast Asia, or at minimum, recognition that she's a global marketing asset. For fans elsewhere, this might seem like a novelty or a one-off, but it actually signals a shift in tennis demographics. The sport has been dominated by European and American stars for decades. Infrastructure, media coverage, sponsorship dollars, they all flow to those markets. But populations like the Philippines have massive tennis fan bases that went ignored until now. And they're proving they can generate atmospheres and ticket sales rivaling anything in Europe or America. That should worry established stars who've grown comfortable assuming they're irreplaceable. Eala just proved connection matters more than accomplishments when it comes to drawing crowds. The pressure on Eala moving forward is enormous. Tournament organizers are scrambling to schedule her matches. They can't bury her on side courts or morning sessions. She's the prime-time event, no matter the opponent. That's star power, when you dictate the schedule instead of the schedule dictating you. But there's danger here, too. The emotional toll of a match like this is intense. Young players often ride massive emotional highs in front of home-like crowds, then come out flat in the next round. The adrenaline hangover is real. Eala's team has to get her proper rest, help her recover, and refocus on the next opponent. A tournament isn't won in the first round, no matter how loud the crowd is. But the images tell the story. Empty seats at other matches versus a sold-out Eala session. That contrast will define Qatar Open 2026. Regardless of who lifts the trophy, this event will be remembered for Alex Eala. She brought life, noise, and color to a tournament that was shaping up to be another forgettable early season stop. Sabalenka and the other top seeds have to be feeling this one. Sure, they're the better players on paper, with superior results and accomplishments, but they can't create the atmosphere that Eala does. That's a psychological punch that hits deep. It forces them to face the reality. Being the best player doesn't automatically make you the most important player. The Filipino fans sent a clear message that the tennis authorities need to pay attention to. Passionate, engaged fan bases are the lifeblood of professional sports. You can have the most technically skilled players in the world, but if nobody shows up to create energy and excitement, the sport suffers. Eala has a built-in following that travels with her wherever there's a Filipino community, which, let's be honest, is practically everywhere. That's a competitive edge no amount of training or improved shot-making can replicate. It's cultural. It's demographic, and it's making players like Sabalenka, who've dominated through pure tennis excellence, realize that modern star power requires more than just winning matches. Eala sold out an entire stadium for a first-round match, while Grand Slam champions played to empty seats. The Qatar Open organizers made her their main attraction over World Ones, and the gamble paid off, with an atmosphere and ticket sales that were unprecedented. Star power isn't just about rankings anymore. It's about connection, and Eala has it.